This is Business Scene. I'm Chris Cascajo. Afghanistan has been plunged into financial crisis following the Taliban takeover 6 months ago, worsening an already dire humanitarian situation after decades of war. The foreign aid which once propped up the country has been slow to return, with the hardline Islamists also cut off from Afghan assets held abroad. The trickle-down effect has particularly hurt Afghans like 32-year-old Nuruddin, who quit his factory job when his salary was slashed to 3,000 Afghanis, which is about $30, soon after the Taliban's return, mistakenly believing he would find something better. But with hundreds of thousands of unemployed across the country, nothing else was available. In desperation, he sold a kidney as a short-term fix. Herat resident Nuruddin.
I was not happy and was tense that day. I went under the knife to cut a part of my body. I didn't want to go, but I didn't have any other option. I did it for my children.
Nuruddin was among 8 people AFP spoke to who had sold a kidney to feed their families or pay off debt, some for as little as $1,500. It is illegal to sell or buy organs in most developed nations, where donors are usually related to the recipient or are people acting out of altruism. In Afghanistan, however, the practice is unregulated. Hong Kong's government invoked emergency powers last week to allow doctors, nurses, and other personnel from the Chinese mainland to help combat a spiraling coronavirus outbreak. The densely populated metropolis is in the throes of its worst ever COVID wave, registering thousands of cases every day, overwhelming hospitals and government efforts to isolate all infected people in dedicated units. Hong Kong authorities have followed a zero-COVID strategy similar to mainland China that kept infections mostly at bay throughout the pandemic, but they were caught flat-footed when the highly infectious Omicron variant broke through those defenses and have since increasingly called on the Chinese mainland for help. Hong Kong is now facing a very dire epidemic situation which continues to deteriorate rapidly, the government said in its statement announcing the use of emergency powers. Hong Kong has recorded more than 62,000 COVID cases in the current wave, compared with just 12,000 during the 2 years before. Local modeling predicts the city might see as many as 180,000 infections and 100 deaths daily by mid-March. Local authorities have increasingly resorted to emergency orders in recent years. City leader Carrie Lam has defended her approach, citing the intensity of the virus crisis. In an environment as urgent as this, we cannot let existing laws stop us from doing what we should do, she said. This is not the mentality for fighting a war. For Business Scene, I'm Chris Cascajo.